Hello everyone, welcome to the correlation by design example. So in the previous lesson I've already mentioned that what we were doing there was very similar to correlation by design, or at least a very important part of it. And to be more specific, what we did there was we were comparing the design of the pullbacks and the V formation and the entry and the exit of all the pairs in one group. So based on that, we've already covered that part of correlation by design. I'm not going to make any more examples of that because those are already really good examples of correlation by design. What we'll cover now is a bit different, quite a simple thing as well, and Naveen already mentioned it in the lesson, but I struggled a bit to find good examples about this that were easy to explain, even though it's not a difficult concept. So I'm going to try with this one, and I'm going to try one more example. So as you guys can see here, this is your Australian dollar group. We just had a massive move all over the pairs. So I've chosen this pair or this currency because it just had that move and it really catches your attention. I'm guessing, I'm pretty sure of that. So everyone always wants to try and catch these, but they only happen once in a blue moon. They don't happen so often. So as a trader, you have to realize, okay, if I catch one of these, generally I'm just lucky. Day-to-day trading is much smaller moves that I'm catching. But for the sake of this example, I did pick one of these moves to see if correlation by design could help us determine whether a move could happen on a pair. Not necessarily a big move like this, but just a move. Okay, so so far on the 4 hour we see all this move. Now let's go up one time frame and see what is happening there on all the different pairs. Okay, we're not going to discuss trading time frame or big boy time frame too much. We're just going to focus on these time frames, these two time frames, and just on the design of each currency pair. Okay, so Australian dollar, US dollar, we're in a downtrend, and now we're in a very big range, probably like a weekly range or something like that. Not so important. We're going to focus on the last part here, and that was that price was in a channel, and then we had a strong move down, making a new low, but also a faker. So new low doesn't really hold, but price is struggling massively on the way up to even reach that guy that started it, right? And then it started to gain some momentum, came right back, but went right back up, held there for a bit, and then we had the sharp drop. This one, it's not a surprise that we had a sharp drop from here, because you could argue it was in a down channel, and what happens after a down channel, very often we go into a range. Well, this could be the start of the range, right? Or this could actually already be the confirmation of the range, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so not super surprised there. Let's have a look at another one. Next up, Aussie Swiss franc. This one seems a bit different. We were in an uptrend, then we had a bit of a down channel, but we broke out of that down channel very aggressively, and we kept on going higher and higher and higher. And basically when price reached here, we were almost in uncharted territory. We only had that little spike here and then that bigger spike here, which is very hard to determine whether price is going to react exactly from here, or maybe from here, or maybe from here, right? So this one a bit more of a surprise. So let me try and grade that so we don't forget what's what. So this one I'm gonna say neutral. This is not strength numbers for the record, but I'm just not so surprised. This one, we put a question mark. I was quite surprised as it dropped. Okay. Next one, Aussie yen. Same thing here. It seemed like we were, after this massive spike down, we came back and we were in a range for a little bit. We broke out of the range. It even seemed to hold for a bit, and then it crashed down again. And the range had been going on for quite some time. So bit surprised here. Also, if we look at the area from where it dropped, I don't see a support here. there is some here, but resistance, there is some here, but not too sure. And if we want to have something that looks like clear resistance, we have to go all the way to back here and here. So a little bit surprised why that area only starts to push down now and not earlier. Okay, so this one, bit of a surprise as well, question mark. Then the next one, Aussie CAD. We're in a range first, and we go into a channel. We draw that range here, and it seems like we're going into a channel like this. I'm guessing not a super nice channel, or maybe it should be drawn like this. And it could be that we're holding inside that channel. So let me draw that properly. It didn't really reach the top of the channel, right? Even with my bad drawing skills, that becomes quite clear. Okay, so is there anything else in this area? Well, there's a little bit of a supply area up here. So, okay, this one, not too surprising. Also, if we look at that, we had a bit of a V formation here, then price struggled a little bit. Went slightly higher than the V, that was not a good sign, but all in all, I'm not too surprised. At least not as much as on these two. Okay, then Aussie New Zealand. This one isn't even participating properly, because we should have a massive drop here like this. That's not happening, right? We just had that up move, nothing else. So this one, and we know Aussie and New Zealand, they often correlate with each other, so let's keep this one out of the picture, at least for the correlation here. Euro Aussie, reversed pair. So what we had here was a range on top, little one, and then we were in a down channel, and then we had that massive move up. Well, what's the area from where it moved? Not very clear either, right? Just came out of the blue a little bit. There's nothing clear here. Maybe if we go back further, you could argue there's some support here, maybe a little bit here, but I think it's too far back. So this one, question mark as well. And pound Aussie. So we'd been going in a down channel for quite some time. Maybe we were holding in that down channel actually. And then we had a move from, okay, I'd say this is not a surprising area. There's some support here. Pardon my bad drawing, the line could be a little bit lower on this end, but you get the idea. And I think there's also some demand level here. Supply and demand, as mentioned before in my examples, will be covered later on in this course, so don't worry about it. For now, we only want to know that there is something in that area, and I think there is. So here, not so surprised. I'm going to be neutral. So what do we have now? We have 3 pairs where I'm not so surprised, and 3 pairs where I'm really surprised that it started to drop from where it did. So what can we do with this information in the future? I mean, when something like this happens again in the future, when we're just going over all the correlation pairs, and it seems like, you know, something has been going on in a channel or a range for too long, or something has been going up very aggressively, and then at some point we know it's gonna come back. That happened here and here as well. So when I see something like this in particular on Aussie Yen and Aussie Swiss franc, I know something's gonna happen. This is not gonna go up like this forever, especially on these higher time frames like the daily. It might go up for a little bit, but definitely not forever. So if something like that happens, I start to look for clues on sister pairs where I can say, okay, all the other pairs are approaching an area of interest. Could it be that this is going to go and drop soon as well? Doesn't mean I should try and trade these. That's also the point of this lesson. but we just want to identify, okay, something's been going up for a while here with that steepness of an angle. I doubt that's going to continue, and every day that it does, or every candle that it does, I should say, chances of the next candle doing the same thing are decreasing. So then we have to look at sister pairs and see if we can identify areas on these other pairs that price is approaching and from where price could start to react. And then once it starts to react, we can go down to a lower time frame. We can, you know, find our V or our little pop, pullback, V formation, and everything, and try and trade it from there. But we should always focus on the safer pairs. Don't try and trade some of these, the ones with the question mark. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I'll try and find another example. As I said, I was struggling a little bit to find a good example, but I'll try and find another one. It's just a lot easier if a big move has just happened, then everyone really understands what I'm talking about. So I'll try to find another one.